And welcome back to Flexible Games, where we are playing Factorio DeathWorld. Alright, so this episode, as you can see up here, I have squared away this upper corner here. There's a lot of tree chopping and a lot of just placing, pretty much the same as I've done on camera for quite some time. Just putting them up there, getting them good to go. I'm already collecting lots and lots and lots of artifacts. So we're pretty good on that front. Now, I think it's time we start moving into the next tech tree, which will require some oil. So I want to start on oil if I can. So where do we want this? I've already got a couple miners down here for sulfur. As you can see, I am researching what is needed here. So the plastic is used right with these transistors, which also require silicon. So I've been doing some research on silicon processing, and that will require calcium chloride, which can be achieved through a couple different processes. I'm not sure which one I'm going to go for this time, but I do want to start that process. Also, while we're just waiting, let's upgrade some turrets or maybe some damage. Let's do some damage. Okay, so we are going to need lots of pipe and lots of straight pipe. Underground pipe and straight pipe. Because these are both going to merge into a single... I think that's a good spot. Let's see how far we can go with some underground pipe. Maybe one more. We have quite a bit of room, so I'm not too concerned with room. My main concern is throughput. So this, I want to, let's put this like here. And that can start. That'll fill up pretty fast. I want it to fill up fast. I'll probably end up upgrading these pump jacks at some time in the future. For now though, let's look at what we're going to need for oil. Start with 4 refineries. I think that should be good. And I'm just going to gamble and say the bottom one is where we are going to always have oil. If not, I can always change it later to the top one. Just like that. So now we've got plenty of oil. And if you're curious about how fluid dynamics works in Factorio, I have a video on that in my tidbits playlist called Fluid Dynamics, and it explains how fluid dynamics in Factorio work. It's kind of a quirky pseudo pressure system. So it's worth noting that the amount of oil in a pipe reflects how much oil is in the storage before it. So if this tank is half full, these pipes will only fill up to half full at any given time unless you put a pump system on it. So just be aware of that. So we're going to put the petroleum gas up here a ways. And we're going to want to store that and use it for plastic. The other oils we are going to want for other things. For now, let's take light oil and move it one away. And I want these to be lit up so I can see what I'm doing. There we go. All right, so light oil is over here. I will use that to crack. Heavy oil, I found out with Bob's, is actually used in quite a few places. So we are going to want actually heavy oil to come up and in this way. Let's do one more. This can be, that can be heavy oil. And which one, where's my light? Right there. There we go. Now we have got some oil processing. And I'm going to quickly pause it here. I've got a truck outside of my window that's going to be making a lot of noise. So I will pick it right back up where I leave off here. And we're back. Sorry about that, folks. That garbage truck comes by about 3 times a week. It's about 10 minutes of very loud noises. Okay, we should have quite the amount of oil being processed. These things aren't the fastest in the world, but hopefully we're getting a good supply. Looks like we are. Now, the first step that I do when it comes to oil is I process the heavy oil down into lubricant, just because there is so much and we're gonna bring that out a ways. Oh, right about there is good. And more pipes, please. So that's going to come out right there. That will come out right there. I think I can still squeak by. There, and something like that. That will deplete the heavy oil. Now the light oil is a little trickier. I could make it into fuel, light liquid fuel, which I don't actually know how to burn that. There's no way to break it down any further. So what I usually do is I put it into usually break it down and make it into solid fuel. Now you could just keep adding tanks and just keep storing it and storing it and storing it. That's fine. However, depending on your oil supply in your game, it could take a lot of tanks before you can start cracking it. So just be careful. It's like that, and one more to round those out. There. Now we are going to ensure for a time, we're going to ensure that petroleum gas gets the absolute most amount of attention, because that is what we're actually going for. We want petroleum gas because we need plastic. It's about the only thing. So let's do it to production, and I am out of something. Basic electronic boards. Yep. Which are over here. Grab just a bunch of these. Not really using them for anything right now. We will eventually, but for now we're just going to stick with it. So and this is going to be plastic, which uses coal. So that is 5 of those. Do I want 6? I'm trying to think here. My last playthrough I had like 2, and it just absolutely was not enough. So let's go in the middle here. Like that. And these also need coal. So this is the tricky part. We're going to need to bring some coal in here as well. And pipe. And a little underground so I can walk through. That's all I do that for. Being able to walk through it. And the coal is right here. We got coal. So we're all good with coal. And I'll bring it down. And of course, that is in the way. Just go around it. Bring the coal in. That way I can... Let's use some fast inserters for that. Like so. Let's put the lights a little bit more conveniently in there. And put some light over here, maybe some over here. Get this area lit up. It's going to be used quite a bit. So now that we've got everything we need, we can work on outputting plastic. And where do we want to put it? So I think these 3 will do that. So 3 in. And this makes 2 plastic, so we want fast inserters. There we go. We now have plastic. So where do we want to put plastic? I think maybe a good idea would be above here. Since I've got all this room now, I'm thinking maybe above wood. So I doubt I'll be pulling wood off for much else. And I might run into a spot where, because I don't think advanced electronics, I don't think these use wood. These use the, oh, these do use wood. Okay. So I didn't start that research. So 1 wood and 1 resin. That's very doable. Okay, so where are we going to bring these up? Let's bring them. This is kind of crappy setup here. Kind of want to bring them up right next to the ammo. And let's skip. Let's do that. Just perfect. And then we'll bring it up through here. Up through all of this. Just like so. Okay. Skip this up. Skip as much as we can here and here. One more. Oh, I can. I made it. There we go. Plastic. So we've got wood, which we can get resin out of, and we can get wood out of. And we have plastic. And now we need the silicone stuff. So there's wood and resin. And resin we get from wood. So those are both. And I'm going to do white circuits up here. And we have so much wood on me that I just don't need so much of it. All right. So silicon. I did put a miner up here and started to mine the silicon ore just to have it around when I needed it. And I'm out of these. So what I'm thinking is kind of might be a kind of a quirky setup, but it'll work. Fill both ends. That's what I'm going for. I don't have much here, so I've got to be careful with where I use it, how I use it, because the nearest silicon from here is who knows where. So it's that bright white stuff. There might be some right there, but that is right in the middle of just a disaster. And the nearest stuff from there looks like there's a little patch way over here. So getting the stuff that we need is going to be tricky. I'll do the silicon stuff in the next episode. So I thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.